So, I guess I got my prediction wrong. It wasn't going to be Cody versus Roman. They really did course correct, and now it is Roman versus Punk. Um, you know, I'm not opposed to it at all, really. I mean, I didn't really care either which way. I just kind of wanted to be right. I was like, actually, I predicted this. I do think that match will happen eventually. If it's going to end in the way I thought it was going to end with the whole heel turn of Cody, I'm not so sure of anymore. But, the promo that Punk and Roman had on, was it on Raw or was it on Smack? It was on Raw, I think. Dude, I can't even remember these shows anymore. It was a fine promo. A lot of people were really hyping it up, and, it was okay. I think both of them could have done better. I always feel like Punk is cutting a promo in a very reserved mode, and when he does fire it up occasionally, it's like really, really good. In this promo, I think he was doing a decent job. I think he did a better job than Roman. Roman, he was good, but I just, he doesn't have the same intensity to him. He doesn't have the same mic skill, it seems, that he used to during the Tribal Chief era, especially in the early parts of like his title reign in like 2020 and 2021. He was really fucking cooking people, and I really liked that version of Roman. And now he comes out and he plays this kind of, I don't know, like tweener role. I just don't buy I don't know what I'm supposed to be feeling from him. Am I supposed to be rooting for him? Because he's pretty arrogant and, like, kind of still is the same character that he was when he was the cheater, when he was the tribal chief that was running SmackDown and he had people run in and help him. He really hasn't changed at all, so there's no reason for me to root for him as a character. And, I guess you could say, well, Stone Cold was like that. He was selfish. He would do stuff in his own self-interest, and he would attack baby faces and heels. He was sort of a tweener. Well, you can't be Stone Cold Steve Austin all the time. And I also think that Roman just isn't around enough to justify why I should care for him if he's going to be that type of character. You can't really root for him. He's not around much. So already it's hard to get invested with him, and then he just wins the Rumble. And then, you have him talking about how, well, everybody's just not as over as me. Everybody's really not just as over as me, and that's why, people need to get over. And it's so stupid, like, oh, there's no new stars. And I agree. There is a problem with new stars in this company, but Roman Reigns was literally given everything. And it failed so many times. It failed for so many years. They gave him main events. They gave him title reigns. They had him go over pretty much every fucking legend you can think of, and it didn't fucking work. Until eventually, they finally listened to what the fans were saying for years and turned him heel because he's a natural heel, and guess what? It worked. But at the same time, they also gave him a huge mega heel run on a fucking silver platter and had him go over everyone for like almost 4 years and have one of the longest championship reigns of the longest championship reign of the modern era. So it's like, yeah, you got over after 8 or 9 years of failing, and then you were given the biggest push probably you can get of all time. Besides, like, people of Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock and stuff and Hulk Hogan. So, you didn't really earn anything. You didn't really get over. It's like, it's so annoying when you see these guys who are given positions because of who they're related to. And I'm not dogging on Roman because I don't think he's talentless or whatever, because I really did like the Tribal Chief Roman. I liked Roman in the Shield. And, I think Roman is a really good wrestler. I think he's had a lot of great matches. But the arrogance, maybe that's what it's supposed to be in character. But I also do believe that these guys believe their own shit in a way. And it really irks me because when you really hear these people talk, not just Roman, sometimes it's Cody, sometimes it's Punk, sometimes it's Drew, and Triple H, when they talk about how, oh, we're like reinventing the business, like they're saying all these empty words and talking about how this is the biggest, time of our business of all time. It's a fucking lie, every time, like, we're breaking records. They're inflating the numbers somehow. Or, oh yeah, this is the biggest gate. Why? Because you overcharged all the tickets, It's just a bunch of fake bullshit coming out of these people's mouths. And it really starts to piss you off after a while. And wrestling is starting to not become enjoyable for me. So much so that, like, I'm not even really hyped about WrestleMania. I wish I could get hyped, Maybe it's just my problem. Maybe I'm just too jaded with wrestling and I need to take a break entirely for maybe, like, a few months or a year. But, this shit just gotta get better. It's just gotta get better because, it's also so not organic of how these guys just turned on each other in a dime. They were pretty cool with each other for a good majority of last year after their triple threat match of Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. So much so that they teamed up with each other and what did they, like, fist bump and stuff at Survivor Series. So for them to all of a sudden now hate each other, like Roman's like, I hate you, and they have all this anger and animosity towards each other just because Roman won the Rumble, doesn't really make sense, and it really wasn't organic in the way that they transitioned this feud from being, oh, Roman's the Rumble winner, so he's challenging Punk, and they transitioned it into, oh, now Roman hates Punk and it's personal. I get it, they did have history, but you have to naturally build that up. It's like they tried to shove too many things into this promo while also not really giving enough, because I think these guys could have said some real cool shit to each other in different ways without having to immediately go into the Colt Cabana podcast and immediately go into, oh, I created the Shield. They're blowing their load way too early. But I guess it's better than last year where nobody cut promos at all besides Seth Rollins. So, I guess you got to take what you get. That being said, I'm sure it's going to be a good match, a really great match probably. But at the end of the day, I'm not really that hyped for it because I know that the week-to-week show is not going to get better. If the week-to-week shows get better, then I'll be I'll have more enjoyment in these things, but they're not getting better. And the pay-per-views really aren't that great either, so I don't know, the whole production of the show is annoying, and everything just annoys me now. Really, everything annoys me, especially Adam Pearce. Get him off my fucking TV screen, please. I never want to see Adam Pearce again, bro. He is so annoying. This Commissioner fucking Gordon character that he's playing, stop it. All right? Nick Aldis is annoying too, but at least Nick Aldis isn't always yelling and overacting and fucking hamming it up. He's just, suave, like, hey, get off of my show. You're getting out of my building right now. Get him out of here. It kind of gets annoying and tedious because that's pretty much all he does, but it's not as grating to the ears as, get him out! Get him out! I've had it with you. Yeah, I don't care. I gotta get someone out of here if they're causing a trouble on my show, whether I like them or I don't. Just shut the fuck up, bro. Just shut the fuck up. Alright? Just shut the fuck up. I hate Adam Pearce. I hate him.